Are we ready to go or?
Yeah, we're
What,
live.
what kind
Oh,
of,
we're
what kind
live.
of, what
Welcome
kind of,
everybody to another exciting episode of Shits and Giggles. Today we are live Saturday afternoon with Gridiron Chef Doc from Tailgate Home Nation. He's going to be talking a little bit about the playoff games this afternoon, and we're going to put our prediction on near the end of it, but he's entertaining. He's a very good friend of mine. Love him dearly. Doc, welcome to the call. Shits and Giggles is happy to have you on board, buddy.
What up, dog? It's good to see you again. Hey, buddy, man. I miss sitting in the grill watching football with you. I've only got one other NFL friends. I'm going to have to start a support group because, man, I need comedy during NFL so I don't throw any more bricks through the TV.
Well, listen, it's been a while since I've seen you personally, and you're looking great. Glad you got over the COVID, and that you're joining us for this special little live that we've got going on. So
Yeah, next time we do it, we'll be, we'll have the studio microphone here, which the metal plate's affecting that right now. And no, listen, buddy, for years, we've all been football and food, so this is a joy.
Yeah, football and food's always been a big part of our lives, and I'm excited to see what you're going to have to say about that Houston-Baltimore game today. What are you thinking about?
Well, let's start, the first one. Listen, CJ Stroud is a bit of an anomaly. Let's start there. Let's establish doing something a rookie quarterback has never been done in the NFL. The closest thing I can say is the early days of Dan Marino. But he's throwing guys open. He's doing things a rookie doesn't do. And let me tell you, trying to grade a quarterback from Ohio State is like assessing Bill Belichick assistant coaches as head coaches. They crap the bed. Year after year after year, the last 7-8 quarterbacks out of Ohio State couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. And I will tell you that this guy is doing something I've never seen. I'm dead wrong about him. But, listen, the Texans overall as a young team, they have overcome injury late season. They just dominated the number one defense in Cleveland, or regular season. CJ Stroud is setting new heights as a rookie. It's stunning. It's simply stunning. And from that, I just think that Baltimore's got a lot more to prove, Kai. They truly do. They overcame early stumbles, pass dropping. They clinched number one. More impressively, it's the quality wins they had in Baltimore. They beat the Lions, the Niners, the Dolphins, a collective aggregate score of 127-44.
Wow.
But playoffs, as we know, is a different kettle of fish. There's no Mark Andrews today. He was practicing all week. He's his whoopee. He's the whoopee at tight end. He's not there. It's what can Lamar do in the playoffs? He's 0-2 in the divisional round. I still don't know why the NFL calls it the divisional round. That's stupid. Last week was simple. Wild card, super wild card. Key stats. You want them?
Yes.
Texans number one in run DVOA, deviated variation over average, and that's my people at the Old Football Outsiders. They turned over Flacco when they were grasping at straws. The D allowed more broken tackles, 130, than any other team. They got a series of rookies and cast-offs in the back. Can they stop Lamar? They got a coach, I think, that can do it. I think it's a close game.
Yeah,
For
they're
me,
favored by.
Go ahead.
They're
Go ahead,
favored
buddy.
by 9.5, I believe. That was the morning line. That
Yeah.
seems a little bit high, especially the way that Stroud is playing. What you said earlier, what made a lot of sense to me, where that Houston has nothing to lose. They lose, they're supposed to lose. But I think this game is going to be, like you said, I think it's going to be a close game. And I think that Stroud is just going to be magnificent in this game, as he has been all year, and he deserves the Rookie of the Year. You know that.
My
and he's
guy
probably
from
gonna get it.
Michigan, Nico Collins, is his guy, and he's been doing things as a young receiver. I think the bottom line, Kai, is this. It's been 3 weeks since we saw the Ravens dominate, and that week off is always one of the biggest stories in the playoffs. Is it rest or rust. And I've seen Lamar come out of a late season and crap the bed. Listen, D'Amico Ryans has a defense right now in concept. Don't forget, he was part of the Jets coaching staff, coaching that run defense, and they run similar defenses, and a lot of quarterbacks struggle against the Jets, and now quarterbacks are struggling against D'Amico's defense. He's got a lot of cast off, but I think at this point, I think the Texans can stay in the game. I think that we've not seen anything right now the last 3 weeks out of the Ravens. And again, it's rest or rust. I think there's going to be a little rust in the first half. That kid, I think, will eventually, as a rookie quarterback, will eventually have what I focus on with a lot of these superlatives is regression to the mean. He can't be this good for this long. It's never been done, right?
Yeah, but
At what point?
He's special.
He is special, but he will, like we're going to talk about Green Bay. Look what's happening with Jordan Love. We'll segue that to that later on, but Jordan Love's doing the same thing. Eventually, there's a great regression to the mean, but D'Amico Ryans has done something magical. This is a team that 24 months ago had 51-year contracts. It was the bad news bears of football, and to turn it around by getting his number one picks and CJ and Willie Anderson, and then these cast off. He's done magical things. I wouldn't doubt it if they upset the Ravens, but I'm going with the Ravens by a field goal.
Okay, that's your prediction. You know what? I'm going to go with the underdog. I got to go with Stroud, and I think that it's going to be a very close game, and I figure it's going to be around 27-24, 27-25, and I'm going to take Houston. I love what he's doing. I have to stay with him.
They played week one, right? They played week one, and it's the first meeting. In the first meeting, I think Lamar had 1 pick and 4 sacks. Stroud had 5 sacks, but he had more touchdowns. And it's a long time, 17 games ago. This guy just showed in the playoffs a cooler than the other side of the pillow offense and attitude that I've never seen. If it's another anomaly, so be it. I'd love to see it because I'd like to see Buffalo host the AFC Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Buffalo fan too. I mean, we're not that far from Buffalo. But the thing is, I do believe that Lamar is going to try to run a lot today, and I think they're just going to stop him. And look what he did to Cleveland. I mean, Stroud was just like, I did not expect that game to be that far out of reach for Cleveland to even try to get, like, it was
Isn't
just...
that crazy? I think one of the keys here is it's ironic. Devin Singletary, the Buffalo cast-off, has got to have a great game in that backfield. He's got leg strength. I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to his agent, trying to get him involved with my company, and Devin Singletary has been in the most underutilized. He's doing something I've never seen an average back do. But the other key to the Texans in upsetting Lamar and the Ravens is Dalton Schultz, the former tight end with the Cowboys. But what have they got on the other side? Baltimore's got 2 steadfast linebackers in Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, maybe the best tandem in the NFL. If they can keep their lid on Schultz, it's going to be up to Nico Collins and Devin Singletary. Otherwise, he's going to run out of weapons, and he can't do it all himself against the top defense.
Yeah, Collins and Singletary have really played very, very well. I think they're going to continue in this game today too. Schultz, again, he's a big target. I think if they key on him, there could be a problem. But I believe with the strength of Singletary, the way he's playing in the last 4 weeks of the football season, and the same with Nico Collins. I mean, that kid's incredible, right? So he's a rookie as well, but
it looks like he's playing like an all-pro. And don't forget, they've got 2 wideouts out. And imagine if they had the full cast of characters. They're a young team, and next year they're going to come out preseason. And if they even make this game competitive, they're going to be one of the hot teams coming out of the chute next year.
All right, Doc. Thanks for the insight on that. That was great. Now, what about Green Bay and San Francisco later on this evening?
Well, again, here's another rest or rust kind of circumstance right now. I think the story here is, as much as we've been talking about what kind of team San Francisco is when they're at full strength with a dynamic young quarterback and Brend Ayuk and it's just Deebo Samuel, and if it's not one, it's the other, and George Kittle and
McCaffrey
running
too.
game,
I mean,
zone running game with McCaffrey. I mean, they've got too many weapons, but again, we've seen them crap the bed before. I think the story here is, will there be an eventual regression with Jordan Love? Jordan Love, to me, looks like a first or second year Aaron Rodgers. See this?
yes, sir.
That is Love's pressure, throwing under pressure, third down, and play action rates since the beginning of the season. And if you look at his progression from week 1 to 5 through week 16 in wild card, I mean, under pressure, he was the first 5 weeks of the season 10 of 33 against and 177 yards, no TDs, 1 interception, and 10 sacks, a 30% completion rate. You fast forward to week 16, or actually week 11 to 15, and then 16 in wild card, 30 of 42, 430 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, 71% completion rate against pressure. That's hardcore development against, for a young quarterback. This kid has been in bubble wrap for 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. And now we're seeing him look as good or better than Aaron Rodgers. His third down percentages, the same kind of progression. His play action, the last 3 weeks, 30 of 39, 478 yards, 4 TDs, no interceptions. For me, where is this no-name cast of receivers? It's like he's got 20 or so no-name wideouts on that team that just blew up the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
They've got a great running back. Dylan's not playing today, but they've got a great running game. And I don't know, but at this point, if they have the horses to keep up with San Francisco. San Francisco, their biggest Achilles heel is their coach. Their coach is the same coach who crapped the bed with Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl and threw the ball on third down and cost them the greatest comeback that Brady ever had in the Super Bowl. And I will tell you that he also crapped the bed last year, having the most talent going in the NFC Championship, had the best team in the league, and then stuck a tight end on the number 1 pass rusher in the league at that point, Hassan Reddick, and blew up his quarterback's shoulder, which changed the entire dynamic. I think they went through 3 quarterbacks that day. I think the Achilles heel is the coaching staff at San Francisco. They've got a lot more to prove. They have the same kind of pressure on them, I believe, that Dallas had, who's been wetting the bed in the playoffs for what seems like 2 decades.
Right. That's great. Love the way you said that. Do you think that it's going to be San Francisco's coach that is going to be outcoached by Green Bay's coach?
Yeah.
Will that come down to basically, is that a huge advantage for Green Bay?
Is it who's going to crap the bed? Who's actually going to have so much pressure on them? Just like that, I think the Cowboys played like shit because, and giggles, just because.
I love the way you said that, bro. You're on it.
Just because there's so much pressure on them. He's the one who wet the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The fact is that I think Green Bay, just like the youngest team in the NFL right now, and the youngest team in the playoffs, just like Houston, a young team, are playing with house money. They got nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't doubt if Jordan Love carves them up for 400 yards. It wouldn't shock me, because a leopard doesn't change his spot. A zebra doesn't change his stripes. When the pressure's on a coach and a number one offense in the league to produce at the level that they were when they were winning, and not regress to what did they shit the bed for 3 weeks in a row when we had them the number one team in the NFL. It's a dichotomy of I don't know, but I'm going to say Green Bay continues and they make this a field goal game, but I still got to take the talent of the Niners. I think Trent Williams is quintessential on that offensive line. I think Fred and the gang on defense, great. Fred Warner's a great middle linebacker. If he can shut down and make Jordan Love one-dimensional and have to throw the ball 45 times, I think that's where we're going to eventually see the regression. But here's the one key, Kai. The secondary of the Niners can, at points this season, be very pedestrian and average. Right. And he's got these no-name guys running around like hair on fire. 1 week it's Romeo Doubs. 1 week it's a guy that just came from the Bad News Bears. Where are these guys coming from? They're pulling them out of their. They're pulling them out of their butt.
Maybe they're getting dropped off by some alien ship and just throwing them right into the ball field and say, like, "Play some football, bud." I don't know. Because you're absolutely right. Like, how is Green Bay where they're at right now and the way they're playing with what team they have compared to what San Francisco has? That's where I have a problem with the fact that I don't think this game is going to be close. I'm liking San Fran to beat them by a touchdown. So I don't think Green Bay can stay with the powerhouses that they have in San Fran, like McCafferty and you got Debo and you've got those guys that can cause some damage. So I'm saying San Fran about 40-28.
Listen, I think we're going to, by the end of this game, I'm looking at these names. Other than Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed's a nobody, right? I mean, it's
Where
like,
did he come
it's
from?
like, well, we know who Christian Watson is. He's a
Sure.
speedster. Look at Dontavian Wicks, Ben Sims. Like, where are these guys coming from? I don't know, but I will say this. What I'm seeing as far as quality at the quarterback position, I think Love has the horses to stay in this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer, but I'm still going to go 3 points for the Niners, but we know home field's worth at least 3 points. This is a pick'em game for me because I think there's more pressure on San Francisco to produce in the playoffs than there is for Green Bay to continue on this path.
All right. Well, so you took Baltimore to win in a very close game against Houston. I took Houston, and I'm taking San Fran to blow out Green Bay.
Blow them out. Okay.
I think they're going to blow them out. At home, they're pumped. They got hurt last year by not, going to the big show. I think they're coming back with a vengeance, and I think they're gonna to do a very good job of obliterating Green Bay.
I hate people with hope in their life. It's just like,
man.
oh God, it's like, it's crazy. I mean,
No, you're crazy. You're crazy.
It's like, listen, I'm going to tell you a story. How frustrating that stadium can be. It was the most technologically advanced stadium. I had an interview in the Dallas Morning News during the preseason years ago when they built that stadium. They were talking about the kind of demographic that shows up to Niner preseason games and all the ex-Raiders fans. And two guys got the absolute boots put to them in the bathroom. And just there was so much violence going on at NFL stadiums, and I was asked by Jeff Moser, one of the Jeffs, the NFL writers. He said, "What stadium when you take your kids to?" And I thought about it, and I didn't know much about the new Niners stadium at the time, but I said the Baltimore Stadium. I know stories of Buffalo fans getting beard in the head. I can remember protecting Browns fans from getting bottled in the head in my years of tailgating in Buffalo. And I certainly wouldn't take anybody who snowballs Santa Claus. I wouldn't take my kids to Philadelphia. I know that was 30 years ago, but if I got to hear, the one thing I love about this weekend is I get to root against teams. I get to root against Kyle Shanahan because I think he shits the bed too much as a coach, and he's got the pressure on him. But I don't got to hear two things this weekend. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. And I don't got to hear, because Mahomes has got to go on the road. I get, and I don't got to hear Dallas go, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. That whole, his cadence under center. For some odd reason, they had a boom microphone on his lapel on his shirt because I could hear the cadence. Say, okay, here we go. Now every time I hear, okay, here we go from anybody, it's like I think of Dak Prescott. And I don't need to think about the Cowboys. I hate them already.
Yeah, they're done.
The point is, I get to root against Kyle Shanahan today. That was my point. Elongated it is, but you know.
Yeah, well, very well said. A little bit of humor there. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
This is fun. I mean, this is our first show that we've done for Shits and Giggles Live. We're going to do one next week too, by the way.
Let me give a plug out because I don't sleep very well. This is fire roasted coffee from my friends down at Collingwood Roastery. And it's the most this is Brazilian coffee, but I just picked up 2 bags of Congo coffee, which is the best roasted beans I've tasted in my life. So I'm happy drinking good coffee, not tinnies.
That's a nice plug. Well, whenever you're in Collingwood, make sure you go to that coffee shop. Right, and make sure you hook up.
Oh, when you come down, yeah, you know, you'd love it. I'll get you some. So.
Well, thanks. You gotta have a shot of Bailey's in there or something.
Tampa Bay, Detroit,
Bailey's.
baby.
Bailey's.
Oh, Bailey's.
Bailey's in the coffee.
Deal.
Okay.
Deal.
So, Doc, one more thing. I know that you have a whole lot of NFL acumen, and you've got a business going too. You just want to briefly talk about what you're doing and what you're trying to put together, or do you want to wait for another time to do that?
No, you know, maybe we'll talk about it on a little bit of an exit here at the end. We'll talk about, segue into some food. You know, I want to know what you're eating for the weekend, and we'll talk about that. But we've been in the tailgating business now for 15 years. There's nothing better than playoff football and breaking bread, and I'll talk about what we're cooking this weekend, starting tonight. And but I really am excited to talk about my hometown of Detroit.
Oh.
And I think it's a great segue into the Lions home game, which I will start by saying I am blown away by the fact it is the most expensive playoff ticket in NFL history to this point.
Oh, you want to go?
Oh, I'd love to go, but it's the most expensive. It's the most expensive ticket. I am blown away. The fact of the matter is, Detroit has never even experienced anything like this. They are making $75 million just in downtown Detroit by hosting their second playoff game. And if we have a San Francisco 49er coach that can wet the bed again, and Green Bay can upset the Niners, and Detroit, which they should, beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Uh-oh.
Detroit would host the NFC Championship.
I don't see that happening. I can't get on that bandwagon.
I know, but that's mind blowing for a team that hasn't done crap in 4 decades. I remember the last playoff win in Detroit before last week, and Eric Kramer led. Herman Moore, Brett Perryman, great. Both 120 catch seasons, and Barry Sanders led them out of the division round into getting the crap beat out of them by the Washington Redskins. That's 1991, I think it was. And it was great to win a game against. That was just before the Cowboys the next year took off and went on their Super Bowl run. So very memorable. But in Detroit, we've got the Red Wings. I got my 6 cup rings. I'm fine. but Detroit football has been and the people that are in that stadium crying at the end of that game, only they know what it means to the fabric of a great city that has been in the imagination of America for years and is coming out of an industrial disease that they've never seen before. Call out to companies like Rock Financial. They have put money in downtown Detroit, the great stadium, great people, Motown in my ears. I taught Motown classes for years because I'm influenced by Motown music. But to see Detroit now coming out, and we're hearing the most expensive playoff ticket in history of the NFL, not LA, not Atlanta, not New York, not Chicago, Detroit, Michigan. I hope that they take them to the NFC Championship because I love Dan Campbell, but I'm going to just take my hats off to a kid that I've always wanted to hate, but I can't hate, and that's Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's playing incredible. He's playing incredible.
What he's done. Remember him and they're both number 1 draft picks. Baker has done something in a year where he's played for 5 coaches in 2 years, is it? 5, something like that. And for him to come out under Todd Bowles and hitch up with a couple of really steady receivers and a team that was 50-50, even be plus or minus 2 games of 500, to come out against a team that was on the decline and take care of business like they did the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles.
They flew all right. They flew right to the golf course.
It was unbelievable. But I will tell you this. Detroit, the difference is going to be their red zone defense. They shut down their former quarterback in Matthew Stafford in the red zone for the most part, most of the day. And they're a bend don't break defense. And I will tell you that Jared Goff is playing at an all-pro level.
Yeah, he's playing well. He's playing very well.
And I will tell you that Detroit, last time they played Tampa Bay, didn't have either of their running backs. They've got 2 running backs. They've got a fairly moderately healthy tight end. He's still questionable, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be the difference in this game. I got him 10 for 125, and I think that Goff and him have got this ESP going. What do you think?
Well, I think I agree with you there. I think that's a great combination. I also like the big tight end they have in Laporta as well, who is he's had a very good season as well. So he's another
Kincaid. Him and Dalton Kincaid of Buffalo, I think, are right up there for Rookie of the Year. They both have changed their respective franchises.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a good game next week, or on Sunday. Sorry.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just a week ahead of myself, like I usually am.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I like Detroit.
It's going to be interesting football this weekend for sure, and you're picking Detroit.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit by 10 points.
I'm going to. I like Detroit as well, especially with the guys coming back and they're healthy. I'm gonna think it's gonna be a closer game than that. I think I'll give it a field goal, maybe 4 points. Detroit to win that game for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
No, it's very going to be a very special game. That place apparently is now hitting the decibel heights of the 12th in Seattle.
Right. Yeah.
And Kansas City. And they're talking about Baker was told by the LA Ram players that it was the loudest stadium they've ever been in. I expect the home crowd to be worth at least 3 points. If we do not see Jared Goff, remember he had that push lateral, he tried to get out of a sack, and we saw a little bit of the stupid wear the stupid hat Jared Goff things that we saw in the early days of LA and Detroit, where you're going, what are you even thinking? If he plays within himself and Gibbs and company and that entire offense fires on all cylinders like they have, I don't think Tampa can stay with them in the defensive backfield. Josh Reynolds is worth 3-4 catches. Laporte, I hope he plays. He's had that hyperextended knee. I just think that Gibbs and a dynamic backfield and maybe They were still rated number 2 on PFF. The number 1 offensive line in football is going to control that game.
Interesting.
And that's the difference in them versus any other team. If they protect Goff and he's firing on all cylinders, they might have to put up 45 a game to make it to the Super Bowl. But I'm going to just say they can, especially if Laporte is healthy. I think there's enough weapons on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense and enough quality if they protect Baker to stay in the game for a half, but I don't see them doing it for 4 quarters. I still think the Lions are going to end up winning by 10.
Okay, I like the Lions. I don't think they're going to win by 10, and that's where I'm at right now. So let's see what happens. It's going to be an exciting day of football today as well as tomorrow. Doc, we're going to have to get going shortly. So in saying that, let's do this again next weekend. And get together with
let's get your Buffalo pick.
Yeah.
How many minutes we got here, bro?
Well, we got
How many minutes?
we got 5 minutes. I'm looking at my producer over here, so we got 5 minutes. It's been a lot of fun.
Give me your pick for Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo. Actually, I'm taking Buffalo to win the Super Bowl, actually.
Ooh. Okay.
Interesting, eh?
I'm rooting for them like I'm rooting for Detroit, being a season ticket holder in Buffalo for all those years. I think Josh has got to be Superman.
Yeah.
This is Mahomes on the road for the first time in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I like Buffalo at home. What
does that look like? I don't know, but I can tell you that there's a couple injuries on both sides that are critical. The linebackers for Buffalo. We're going to have to see the entire defensive line. Daquan Jones and company, he's back from injury. They're going to have to dominate that offensive line for Kansas City. Josh is going to have to be Superman. I'm taking the Bills by 1 point.
Wow.
Because I think at some point the Achilles heel of the Kansas City Chiefs is half of the a wide receiver core has the consistent dropsies all year. I think the best tight end in football, Travis Kelce, when he's healthy, is the best offensive weapon in the NFL. But I believe they can bracket them with their safeties, Jordan Poyer, and who else am I thinking about? I'm forgetting his name. But the safeties,
we do that. We're getting old, buddy.
The safeties in Buffalo are going to have to control and make up for the linebackers can't. There's too many guys down. I will tell you that Josh right now is on a mission. Kansas City has a wide receiving core that couldn't catch a cold some Sundays. And if they can take Kelce a bit out of the game, it's going to come back to one man, and that's Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah,
if they can keep Pacheco under 75 yards and they can limit the passing game of Patrick Mahomes on the road for the first time, I've got Buffalo. It's going to be who has the ball last. Kai.
I agree. And you know what? I think Josh is going to have a huge game, especially with his legs. What he did last week. That 52-yard touchdown that he ran for was just when he was in between those two guys and he took off. I couldn't believe I saw that. He was like the road runner on the Bugs Bunny. He just blew right by them. I couldn't believe that a man that big could beat those two guys. But he did, and I think he's going to have another huge game with his legs, and he's got some good receivers that can help him out. Diggsy and the boys have to come through on that too.
3 feet of snow dropped in Buffalo. I had some quality stats here for Buffalo, but we don't have time. Let's talk about game day food.
Sure.
I want to know what you guys are cooking up your way for NFL divisional weekend.
You know what? We're not cooking up for the divisional. We're going to be doing a Super Bowl platter coming up.
Yeah.
Just because of work schedules that we have, so that we'll try to put it together. We are making some changes with Shits and Giggles as well that will be coming up in the next couple of days. So we're still working on some stuff. Again, this is our first live, so I thought it went pretty well. Doc, you're like I said, your NFL football acumen is quite impressive, and brings some value to the listeners. right? And that's
Well,
what
shits and giggles. Listen, if this recipe, I'll just let you know what I'm doing. How many minutes we got here? A couple
we're
minutes.
good.
Shaved roast beef, sliders with crispy Cajun onions, and a tomatillo aioli on Cobb's slider buns. And
You and your
probably I'll slide some
Sliders
veggies
in
in
there.
there. No, I need some vegetables there for guys like us that quit school to eat full time.
Yeah, that's
And
it. Eh?
you know, and so if it works out, brah, we'll publish the recipe on another Shits and Giggles, and we'll do
Yeah.
this
So
again.
again, we are cooks. Doc is a Gridiron Chef winner, so his barbecue acumen is very, very big. I've had the pleasure to be able to cook with him for a summer. The food that he brings out is amazing. We will do some foodie recipes with you, Doc, because I believe some of the stuff that you can bring to the show and to Shits and Giggles will definitely help with what you work so hard at for most of your life of becoming the Gridiron Chef.
Every Sunday is that, and listen, we can inject a little comedy into here, right? If I was doing chicken, you know, and I hate referees. Why'd the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Why'd the chicken cross the football field?
To get a touchdown.
Because he heard the ref. He heard the ref was blowing fouls. so,
Oh, wow.
so I usually give that one out if we're doing some kind of chicken dish. We'll try and inject
Listen,
some comedy
the audience-
into it. But it's been good talking.
Yeah, the audience that we hope to entertain
Attract.
doesn't mind that type of talk. There might be the
All
odd
right.
F-bomb coming up. We don't know, but sometimes we get pretty
right.
excited, and we have passion for both sports and food, and I think we can have a lot of fun and entertain the audience and our viewers. And
Wait till
there's
the
some good stuff
referees
coming up with
cost.
you and I.
Wait till the referees cost one of these teams a game this weekend, and we'll go off. Right the off. Believe me, you will see me go up one side of them and down the other. Roger Goodell is on my resume, and I don't hesitate sending that SOB a message to fix the bloody officiating instead of a bunch of fat high school teachers running up and down the sidelines, putting their foots down with steel chains for a league that hosts the best athletes in the world. We'll leave it at that. As we say, in the old days of tailgating, keep the drinks cold, the grill hot, and we'll see you back here in the Shits and Giggles parking lot.
We'll see you next week, brother. I love you. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, Gridiron Chef Doc from Tailgate Home Nation. And
Homegate Nation.
hey, it's been a pleasure. It's nice to see you, Doc.
Good to see you,
And
bro.
I know that you held back a little bit, but because I know that you get very passionate and very excited about talking football. So let's do this next week and just let's have some fun, buddy.
I just thought about next time we get together to watch football, I'm going to issue helmets for both of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in.
we may need them. So
All right.
enjoy this great weekend of football and food.
Hey, I'm going to.
everybody, and we'll be in touch.
Doc, thanks so much again, okay? From the crew of Shits and Giggles. We'll see you next week.